Okay, so hello Gabna. What we'll do is finish the rest of the tutorial. Okay. Now, can you pull the stream up? No, I haven't. I'll put it up here too. You're gonna see how laggy it is.
It's not that laggy.
So you can see it.
Oh, no, I lag. I like that. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I bet. But I mean, I'm not gonna blaze through this. This actually might work well because you're not trying to like copy paste the code. I don't know. We'll see. Let's just being optimistic. All right, so if you can see the window up there, what do we have? We successfully have the GLM libraries hooked up, so we get that good vector 3, that good vector 2, which does not contain a .u method. We include stdio because we want to print stuff to the screen. We also have a window, so let's check it out. So whenever I hit play, you'll see who's got their speakers. Is that me? That's not me, huh? Oh,
that might be
that's the TV.
Stop it.
Now you're gonna see me. That's how my hair looks, huh? Just I didn't even look when I jailed it this morning. It's a shame. Okay. So we have glfw, and then you saw that we had the window, right? We also have the ability to press escape, and that window will go away. So that's a start. We're gonna need a couple more things before we can actually get going, and I'm gonna go ahead and post those up on Slack. They're the core loaders, okay? So remember whenever I told you that we have a specific place in memory that the operating system is gonna try to talk to Windows? Or excuse me, it's going to talk to the graphics card. Well, we have to have an intermediary, okay, that will say this is a Windows platform, so we're going to take this place of memory and talk to the graphics card here. All right, so those are what they're called is their OpenGL loaders. There's multiple loaders. There's the GLAD loader. Nick had used the GLAD loader. That's what was in the tutorial before you guys left on your first year. And then there's the OGL loader is what we use, okay? Now, so I'll put this in the year 2 prog 2017. I believe it's up there already. It is. Okay. So I'll go, you can have multiple pins, I'm assuming. Yeah, so in the pinned files in Slack, so if at the top and you see the thumbtack, if you click it, you'll see that there's 2 pinned items. Those 2 pinned items are GL Core 44H and GL Core 44C. Okay? So, what you do is go ahead and click them and download them, and then drag them into your project. The project directory.
You put them in the source name?
Not yet. Not yet. So the tutorial, the way we did it, the tutorial that AIE provides whenever they're setting up the AIE Bootstrap, they do use an include in a source, but if you look at the actual Bootstrap project, it's all out in the open. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I do want to be consistent if that's how we're going about it. We're also following the tutorial. All right. So, looking at this, what we're gonna do is create an OpenGL window. All right. So the main program itself, we're going to need to do some includes. The include that we're going to need once we actually add the core 44H and the core 44C is we're just going to have to include the header for it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that. Like so. So right here, after we make our window, what we want to do is we're going to create a window, but what happens if the window doesn't create? We probably should catch that. We shouldn't try to pull events whenever, you know, on a window that doesn't exist, because the program will never close. All right. You'll also be passing a null pointer to like these functions right here, and I'm not sure what the expected behavior is. You could do this, which is what the tutorial has, so you can check to see if the window is just, you know, if it's a null pointer. What we'll do is we'll terminate glfw because we already initialized it with glfw in it at the top. So glfw terminate will stop glfw. And then what you can do is immediately return from the main function. Okay. What I did over the break was practice using something that an instructor in Australia told me he has his students do, and it's basically including assert, like doing assertions on almost everything. So how many of you remember when we talked about unity assertions? They're used to say, I am sure that this is how it should be. Do you remember that? Do you guys remember assertions? Okay, so if you include the assert.h, what you can do is you could do, instead of doing this, you can do something like assert, you know, window is not a null pointer. You know for a fact that it's not. So in the event that you run this program and this comes back as null, so if I comment this out real quick, I'll just show you. What I'll do is just set it null. When I go to run it, oh, you have to put it first. Wait, what? No, it is. What is this? Assert, like. Oh wait, hold up. Is it this? Am I not using assert? Yeah, here we go. So this is what will happen at runtime. Like whenever your program executes at runtime, it won't just like open and then close. You'll trigger a breakpoint. Like it'll die. It'll assert. Okay. So you can catch things. So like whenever you're doing your math and then you know for a fact that should be the identity matrix, you can do an assertion to say that this matrix should definitely be identity at this point. All right. Or you can assert that you know the index buffer is populated correctly, so on and so forth. All right, so I'm going to leave this here. All right. So now we do OpenGL. Now once we have our window open and we're very sure that it is open, we need to take the OpenGL context and give it to the window, okay? So if I do glfw make context current, alright, so I'm going to specify which window, and if we hover over, that way I'll give you guys a little bit of a better explanation. Yes?
Why are you not swapping, bro?
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. You can see the very specifics of like what that function's doing. It says right here, this function makes the OpenGL or OpenGLS context of the specified window current on the calling thread. What's the calling thread? Okay, it's the main program. It's the main thread. All right. And then they do some cleanup in the tutorial in which they say glfw destroy, so you clean up. So we'll destroy the window, and then we will, I'm going to be moving this by the way, and then we terminate. Alright, so that will happen here. So once I press escape, I'll destroy the window, and then I'll terminate glfw. Alright.
You do the OGL.
Yeah. No, I'm going down the tutorial. Like, I'm going straight down the tutorial. So we brought in the GL Core 44H and the GL Core 44C because we need to load these OpenGL functions. Okay, we need to make sure that those the way that we wrote the loaders are set up properly. So the way that we could do that is say is type this. So if OGL load functions is going to kick back with OGL load failed, then we will do the same thing that we're doing right here at the bottom. Okay, destroy the window and then terminate and return. To make sure that we're actually like to make sure we're running OpenGL, or to see which versions we're actually running of OpenGL, what we can do is get some information from OGL here. So what I'll do is I'm gonna use this auto what do I have a booger?
No, that's not my head.
I mean it's gonna be all up on the internet for you to look at. So just stop. What is Australia gonna say? On top of grading papers, I gotta edit shit. I gotta edit that. Fuck, I gotta edit that. Alright. Auto keyword. Who remembers what that is? Nobody should remember what that is because I never went over that. What is it?
It's like a bar.
Yes, that's exactly how I explained it the other day whenever we were looking at it. It's kind of like, duck face. Yeah, so it's basically like var from C#, okay? Auto will deduce a variable type for you. All right, and I mean, to be honest, like I like auto. I'm all about that. It knows what you're trying to do because the return type of what you're assigning it to is going to be applied, and then IntelliSense will figure it out for you, and then make the variable type whatever it needs to be whenever we go to actually compile and run. All right, so OGL get major version and OGL get minor version. If you want to know what types those are, can anyone make an assumption as to what those are? Yeah, okay, they're integers. So what we do is we're gonna do a print f. Does anyone remember what that is? We did cover that.
Yeah, like the first days.
Yeah, print f. So print f is what you use when you don't have, you know, std cout. So we will print this out real quick. So the major version or major revision would be the first number of OpenGL. So this thing should kick back with 4.5. Okay. So put a breakpoint and then hit play. See what we get. We'll look in the console. And now you'll see it says that we do have OpenGL 4.5. Okay. Those OGL functions are referenced from the OGL loader. So we know that we've set that up properly. Questions? Sweet.
You can't do that in CL?
What?
You can't do that in CL. You have to.
No, you can, I mean, no, you can do it as CL. There's just two numbers that are printing out.
I'm just trying to see.
No, they're just numbers. You can print two numbers. You trolling me. All right. So, we have a window. We have OpenGL. Now we need to get a loop. All right. We have this while true loop, in which what we're doing is we just say while true glfw. We're gonna pull the events, see if the user pressed escape. Okay. If we hit escape, that's whenever we set that the window should close. If you didn't put the input check, how would you close the window?
The X.
Okay, and what happens when you hit the X?
Close.
Why?
It's already set for you.
That gets called. So whenever you say if glfw window should close, whenever you're in your window in graphics, like you hit the X, or if you press Alt F4, all right, then glfw will close the window. So that's important to note. All right. So after we're doing this loop, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put the poll events at the bottom here to remain consistent with the tutorial. And what I'll do is say glfw swap buffers on the window. So our window has these two buffers associated with them. They're two frame buffers. You have the front buffer and the back buffer. Okay, you're gonna populate information to a buffer and then swap. This is something that all of you should be totally familiar with, man. We've gone over it. Whenever we talk about the update loop, you're gonna draw, okay, and then you're gonna populate some information into another place, and then you're gonna swap. All right. You're gonna update the other buffer and then swap over and over and over again. So it's not something that we haven't gone over before. This is just the specific glfw call for it. Okay. So the next thing we're gonna do is actually make some graphics. Yes. The first graphics we're gonna do is we're gonna color the window. All right. So if you want to color the window, what you need to do first is you're going to need to clear, all right, the buffers, and then you're going to use these flags right here. So GL color buffer bit, we'll send that up to it, and the depth buffer bit. Whoa, geo here.
That's a new one.
Mm-hmm.
Can you elaborate? Oh, my leg.
So the two buffers that we are, I want to say, man, so this function GL clear. So it says right here, it sets a bit plane area of the window to values previously selected by GL clear color. GL, you don't want any of this. We're setting masks to indicate how we're clearing our buffers, basically, okay? We're gonna clear the clear buffer bit, and we're gonna do a GL and also the depth buffer bit. So sending those two masks tells us how we are going to clear the screen before we swap. Is that enough?
Yes.
I think that is enough to get by, man. What we'll do is set the color of the screen. So you wouldn't do this in your while true loop, okay? So right above the loop, what you could do is say GL clear color. All right, this got me. Whenever I set the clear color, whenever you set the clear color, it needs to be values between, yes, it needs to be values from 0 to 1. Those are normalized values that represent, you know, from the 0 to 255 range. So if you want this thing to be North Carolina blue, you're gonna need this to be 0.5F, 0.5F, and then 1.F, okay? 0. Wait, what?
Why do you have to put it above the welder? I was just gonna ask that too.
My bad. Yeah, I don't want to set the color every frame yet. I'm just saying that, like, if you just want to set the default clear color to be black or something. So I'll set it to be the teal, and then we'll go ahead and run it. And now you see Tar Heel all day. All right. If we wanted to implement something to where we were like changing the color, what we could do is like, whoa, what is this? All right, so we'll copy that, and we'll put a key in here. You would make a variable for this. So we'll use our glm vec4. Okay, make a variable called clear color, and we will assign it a glm vec4 value. All right, so this will be 0.5f, 0.5f, 1.0f, and then 1.0f. So if I press the F key, I'm gonna do something to just manipulate the background color. So right here, what I'll do is say clear color dot R minus equal 1. That's not it. So minus equal 0.1f. All right. And then what I'll do is set the clear color in the loop. Yes. Well, you need to put it in. Okay, so you bring it into your project, and then the question that he had was, where do I put the OGL loader stuff? So what you do is you put it here in the project directory. I mean, you would put the GL core 44C in the project directory, and then once you put it in the project directory, you're going to need to add it to the solution. Yeah, so right here, under source files, you need to add existing, and then you do GL core 44C. All right. Okay, so I'll go ahead and run the program. And hit F. And it tinted. What? Say again?
Where do you get the GL core?
You were sleeping, so you missed it. If you go into Slack and look in the pinned items, you'll see where it is. You with that, Reggie?
Why are you setting the R? Why are you doing that first?
Where am I messing up?
I'm not saying you're messing up. Before the print, why are you doing that?
Well, that was to press the input and then have the R channel change.
It was just a test?
Yeah. Well, just to see like if I'm getting input here, okay?
Okay. So
I
you
think
just did the clear color.
I think what I'm doing though is needs to be right here. No.
Is there any way to get the color?
To get the color? No, that's where you're starting to follow along the lines of like fixed function, and then maybe maybe glfw will have a way to get it back. But what you're doing is you're just feeding in 4 numbers. Okay. Yes.
You could have just did the clear color inside of the key press, and you just did it. I feel like what you're doing before the print after, like, is it useless? Like, why are you doing it?
Oh, this right here. So if I press F, I'll decrement.
So you can do it over and over again?
Well, only if I press F.
Oh, okay.
Are you saying like if I just press F and then just set it?
I just did it once, just changed the color.
Yeah, and mine was doing it too, and I was decrementing, and I was still having a problem. So
That's not what you do. Oh, you're trying to look for like a...
I was trying to make it shade down. Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm not sure why it's doing what it's doing. Oh no, look, it's there we go. Oh, it's getting darker.
Okay, and also there's why aren't you just using like X, Y, Z?
Because they're okay, so I'm not using XYZ in regards to this vector 4 because it's color information. It's red, green, blue, alpha. You can use XYZ.
But you're just trying to make more sense.
Yes, yes, exactly. That's one of the conventions that are provided with the library. Okay. Does everyone have OGL loader set up? No? Okay.